Welcome back to Keep Expecting Miracles. I am Ilissa,
And I'm Jessica.
and we're back with another episode.
Whoop, whoop.
Woohoo! What's going on, Jessica?
Oh, nothing. Just, learning a lot about myself and about my life and designing my life. What's going on
Mm,
with you?
same, same. We just got off of recording our first episode with our first guest last week, and so every time we choose a topic, we have a series format right now. Every time we choose a new topic, that stuff shows up in our life. And so it's full of processing and trying to figure out what the F is going on.
Yes.
And we're
Yes.
like, it has to be something because just technical difficulties today alone with trying to record is just like, what is going on?
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. Yep. Things flow. I guess that's a part of us having to learn how to, I want to say roll with the punches because that's what people always say, but I feel like that also you're insinuating or you're saying that you're being punched, which I think is not, that's not
Yeah.
good, and we don't want
No.
to continue that. But it's just going with the flow and having your end in mind. So
Yeah. Well, I'm like, okay, I can tell we're leveling up because the challenges that are in place are like growing pains. Like, okay, we
yes.
might need to change something. We might need to cuz we've gotten comfortable with our format, with our platform that we use to record, our
Hmm.
equipment, we've learned it. So it's like, okay, something's going
Hmm.
on. Technical difficulties are happening.
Yes.
Let's figure it out. It's gonna be to the point where we're gonna have backup cameras, backup mics. We already need to buy a hard drive because we got that many recordings.
Girl.
We need to buy
Oh
external
my
hard drive.
gosh. Listen, the main lesson here is that you don't know what you're going to need or what you should do until you start. So you start something,
Yes.
and then that's the initiation, right? You start
Yes.
it, and then your next steps unfold after that. So
Yes.
like all you have to do is start something, and then it's like, okay, well, now I need to do this, now I need to do that. It's like it starts a whole new, like you're paving a whole new way, or you turned a
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
it's not really challenges. It's like you said, it's things that need to be done.
mhm.
And we're recognizing them. I would like to say that we were groomed for this. Like Jessica and I, we went to high school together. For those of you that don't know that, we started off together in a technology magnet program in high school. So we should have, but obviously the technology has evolved, so we should have some type of technical expertise
Mhm.
with something. I'm like, I know how to do a little bit of stuff, but trial and error.
Yes.
Trial and
But look,
error.
that's the whole thing. It's figuring everything out. You got the problem. Okay, now what's the solution?
Right. Right. Now we're like extra cautious about stuff because we'll go back and listen to an episode, listen to a recording. I'm like, dang it, something was off with my mic. Like, okay, this is why they have sound checks. Like, we have to be our own sound people, technical people, or like producers. It
Mhm.
is very real, and um, when people say that this is a lot, it is a lot.
It sure is.
So thank you for the compliments. Thank you for the praise that we've gotten about how our production looks because it does take a lot of effort. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just okay, now we're just ready to go. No, it's a lot. A lot goes into it.
Effort and patience.
Patience.
It
Yes.
takes
Yes.
patience.
Yes. But we wanted to use this episode kind of not kind of. We want to use this episode as the processing in real time of what we're experiencing, the processing of um doing ancestral work, as well as our thoughts on the discussion that we just had on our last episode with Sarah, our previous episodes with Sarah. She's now our friend to the show and maybe soon to be friend. In real life, she was amazing. So what are your initial thoughts about that conversation?
A lot. A lot. I have a lot of thoughts. Because there are so many layers. I know you just posted the reel. Well, you know what? Here's the first thing. The thing that's on my mind, firstly, is the word Sankofa. We did not explain what that meant, what that means, in the episode, and it's because we really wanted to get to the root of what her book is about, of who she
Mhm.
is, and really introduce people to her. But she has the word Sankofa in her in the title of the book, and Sankofa means to go back and get it.
Mhm.
So it's which I said on, I think, a few podcasts ago. I was like, I'm in a soul retrieval mode,
Mhm.
and that is basically Sankofa. It's going back, looking back at the past to go and get what's going to help you.
Well, she did say that when she was explaining it. She said, "I've been on that go back and get." Like she said that.
Yes.
She
She
did
did.
say
She
that.
did. She did say that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Um.
Well,
Mhm.
just before you go on, like now that we are featuring guests on our podcast and this is actual, I feel like we're in the content that we actually want to be talking about. We're deep in it, and so it's just like, okay, our people know what we're talking about. If you're
Yeah.
listening to us, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
but keep going. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're good. But yeah, so with that, the whole idea of that, it's the as we're I called it the what ancestral portal that we're in, because
Hmm.
our yes, we do these topics, but these aren't just topics that we're speaking about, we're living it as well.
Hmm.
And so we are Alyssa and I are actively learning about our past, learning about the history of our families, and what that looked like, and to help to pave the way forward. And part of that for me has been asking questions, to my family members, just about who these people were, what do you know of them, and all that. I think you over the weekend you were doing some stuff.
Yes. Well,
Mhm.
over the week,
You're good.
um, yeah, I reactivated my ancestry membership. I'll probably just have it on there for a month because I'm not going to keep paying for it for a month,
Hmm.
for more than a month. But I reactivated just so I could fill in more of my husband's side of the family and get some more information about that. So I was able to talk to his mom and get just know names and birthdays. I was able to get some really good information about just what his side of the family, like where they were from, where they were born, and stuff that he didn't know. Um, so it's always interesting. It's always like a portal, like Jessica said, of when you're in it, it's just a lot of information. So it's just like whoosh, it comes at you very fast, and you have to take time to process it. Um, so yeah. During like before we filmed, so we have 3 episodes in this series, so we've now been recording the same content for the last 3 or 4 weeks now. And
Hmm.
at the beginning of it, I had uh experience with an ancestor on my husband's side of the family, and it was scary at first because it was in the form of a dream. I'm not going to go into too many details because I want to respect my husband's privacy and his family's privacy. But the person came to me, and it's somebody that obviously I don't know, and he doesn't know. But so I was able to meet with my wonderful guide Alondra, she's Bruja Island on Instagram. I've worked with her before, and done ancestral work with her when I was pregnant, and so she is already familiar with me and my family, and just the dynamics of it. And so she was able to give me guidance on what um, I should do. She reassured me some of the things that you had told, because I had shared it with you. Some of the things that you had told me were confirmed. It was things that I like. She confirmed information that I knew.
Hmm.
Because at first I was just like, "Who is this? What is this person like?" I'm being visited by somebody and I don't even know who this is. Is this somebody who like, is this a nice person?
Hmm.
Because my people know, if y'all listen to me, my ancestors know I don't want to see nobody. I, I, I am not like, I haven't been in the past open to that type of stuff. And so I guess now, because we're talking about it, the embodiment is here, the living it, the experiencing of it is here, and I was scared. I was scared.
Hmm.
But Alondra reassured me, like, okay, you don't have to be afraid. This is what you need to do. And so we have to, just as a family, develop a deeper spiritual practice that involves our ancestors,
Hmm.
involves acknowledging them, um obviously recognizing them as people that came before us, guides who are continuing to, aid in our progress and our forward movement. And it's a little bit tricky though, because it's not, this is new. This
Yeah.
is new to my husband, to his family. It's not like they're open to this, and so I have to tread very lightly.
Yeah, I was telling my mom, I was asking her about, as I said, asking questions um
Mhm.
to my mom, and she was telling me about how she also receives visitations from her ancestors, and these are, when I say ancestors, I used to think, like, before I really started to be deeply and outwardly spiritual, I'm like, oh, ancestors means like people who lived thousands and thousands of years ago that I don't even know who they are, which is, that's not the case. And and our, now knowing our ancestors are our loved ones who have passed. And
Mhm.
so her visits are in the forms of dreams, right?
Mhm.
And they come, and she'll have like all her aunts and uncles come and visit her, and give her messages. Like, she told me that I was shown to her, like they brought me to her in her dream, and she said when she had me, I looked the same exact way as the child that she saw in the dream.
Oh.
And so I was just like, I told her, I was like, I remember growing up, and people would say, because I'm like, I learned, she would bring me to church, and I remember people would say, let the dead rest, let them rest. Like, there's no need to continue talking about them. Let them rest. Let them be and so I told her, I'm like, how can we do that when they're reaching out to us? I'm like, if
Mhm.
that is not the, like, the societal, like, oh, don't let them know that there's actually something behind this. Don't let them know that this,
Mhm.
that our, don't let our people know that our people have people in other dimensions that can reach through and help them with all the troubles that they're facing here. Like,
Mhm.
leave them
Mhm.
as powerless as possible. That's what
Yeah.
it makes me think of.
Yeah.
And like, in the past, someone would have a dream like what you had, or even like what my mom is having, and be like, oh, whatever. It's just a dream.
Just a dream.
And it's never just a dream,
I know.
ever.
I know. And well, I know that.
Hmm.
Because we, dreams are, we've already talked about dreams are around us, and our, dreams are very significant in both of our lives with our families.
Mhm.
I know that, you know that, just by what we're learning and what we talked about with Sarah too, is that, especially with it, if I'm having that dream like right now while we're talking about ancestor work, like
Yes.
that's not for any reason. Like, come
Yes.
on, it's not. So I when I let his mother know,
Mhm.
she said, "You don't think that's real, do you?" Like, "Oh, it was just a
Mhm.
dream." So it's just like, of course I think
Yeah.
it's real. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Like, don't you know it's real?
So hello, it's actually something we gotta look into.
Yeah, that's why I'm calling you. Like, hello. So
Mhm.
it's the work is being done. I know that I can't be forceful. I have to be respectful because it's them, it's their family. I want to be as respectful as possible.
Yeah.
And I want to also but I also want to know, like, why they coming to me? Like, I'm not.
I think that it goes to the person that is most open. And it's like when our people who have already crossed over need to reach and need to say something, they're going to come to whomever is open.
Mhm.
It's just like what, like God is within us, and the God within is going to speak in some way. The energy that needs to be sent to us in some way is going to be said.
Mhm.
Thinking about
Mhm.
I don't I can't really say exactly a perfect example of this right now, but I'm thinking of like just meeting a stranger and the stranger's telling you something that's like, oh shoot, how did you know I needed to hear that right now?
Mhm.
It's like because we're literally always being looked out for at all times, always
Yeah.
protected, always divinely guided at
Yeah.
every single moment in time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's um I'm trying to be respectful, but I know what I want to say, and obviously we have a podcast, so my husband knows that I'm going to share my experiences. He
Uh-huh.
knows that. Um but I think the message was exactly the issue that I'm having with trying to communicate this stuff is that we as a family, my unit, the people that live in my house need to develop a deeper spiritual practice that involves ancestor work.
Mm.
Um
Hmm.
whether his extended family wants to or not, like, we're going to be doing that. We're going to do that with, in ways that we feel comfortable, in ways that are obviously respectful of, how my husband feels. But we need to develop the what is going on right now. I just watched a sermon with Pastor Stephanie Ike. I love her. She's very anointed,
Hmm.
and
I
she
agree.
talks about spiritual gifts all the time.
Mm.
She's with One Church LA with Pastor Torre and Sarah Jakes Roberts, and she's very spiritual. She had a sermon last year that was, I just watched it, but she had a sermon last year. I think it came out in December, and it was talking about maturing in the spirit.
Hmm.
And the times that we are living in, you don't have any room to be saying, "Oh, I am a baby in this way." Like, you need to develop some type of spiritual practice, some type of ritual, some type of, knowing that is going to, elevate you spiritually.
Yeah.
There is more than just what's happening right now with, whether you want to talk about with the politics, with the food, with the alien sightings. Jessica just had one. We got to talk about that last week in her neighborhood. Like, there is a lot going on. There's a lot. And you have to recognize and be aware that this is a spiritual warfare that's happening, that you have to be attuned to. You can't walk around asleep anymore. And
Yeah.
how you do that is whether you are extremely religious or not, you can do that by reading the Bible, praying daily, meditating. Like it is very possible to develop spiritual robustness doing those things. That's what she was talking about, as well as doing the other things that we talk about on this podcast. Working with the elements, working with, if you want to work with tarot, if you want to work with, do dream work, like they're the spiritual technology herbs. The spiritual technology that we're talking about, this podcast is going to help you. It will help you develop yourself, and it's necessary. So we can't walk around asleep. And so let me stop preaching, but
You are right. Look, the books that Sarah mentioned on
Mm,
that episode, ugh. Um,
I know.
which one? I know we both, I mean, I finished it already. And you started reading it, of, what is it called?
Of Water and
Of
Spirit.
Water and Spirits.
Yes.
Yes.
By Malidoma Somé.
Yes.
It was so good.
Yes.
It was so good. Well, I did finish it. I just fell asleep.
Oh,
It was
right.
playing in my ear. I gotta
It's in your subconscious.
It's in my subconscious. I gotta call it forth. No, I gotta go
Mm.
back and listen to it. But I can still. I mean, I listened to like the whole first half,
What
and
did you
so
think about it so far from what you read?
mind is blown.
Mhm.
My mind is blown
Mhm.
because he is just so plainly, like Sarah said, just so matter of factly, like this is what we believe. This is what my village believes. This is what my culture believes. My people, like he talks about. Um, I love how he broke down the view of colonialism and what white people did. Like learning, obviously we live in America. We've learned about slavery. We've learned about, them taking over the indigenous people's land, coming over here. But I feel like it's just fragmented. Like
It
when you're
is.
learning, his book put everything together for
Mm.
me. Like it made it whole with colonialism and how they literally just
Mm.
devised a plan to
Mhm.
basically take over the world and use African people to as slaves to build up their
Mhm.
countries
Yep.
countries that they
Yep.
took. So
Yep.
just that alone, that's at the beginning of the book. Just that alone is like,
Yep. Yeah. It's that book makes me extremely emotional. Makes me so sad, but then happy at the same time. It's like I just, the way that he put that all together, exactly everything that you said, how colonialism came through his town, his village, and just, like a tornado. And so the thing that you learn early on in the book is that he was kidnapped. His father's friend kidnapped him, for
but
religious purposes.
by Jesuits.
Yes.
Are they Christian? Is that under the Christian?
You know what? I haven't even gotten myself
I
to
don't
look
even
to
know.
look
I don't
into
even
it.
want to know that.
But
It's like you over here, preaching the gospel and you kidnapping kids. Is this what we're doing by any means necessary? We have to. You know what? I'm so happy that I have never wanted to go on a mission trip somewhere and be a missionary. Cause that's colonizing.
yeah,
I'm gonna just go ahead and say it.
yeah. I to just to snatch somebody up, to betray, not only it's so many levels. You betray a friend, you
Yeah,
steal a child from
they're
everything that they
home.
know to
Well,
raise them
but it's just
like
like, so they know how train a child up. Like if you get children when they're young, that like we can make them have this foundation. Like they knew what they
yeah,
were doing. They knew what they were
yeah,
doing. At
yeah,
4 years old, you're gonna take a child away from their home just to
right.
brainwash them.
Mhm. Mhm. There's a way to do things, and that's not it. That was not the way. But I'm thankful. I do appreciate him sharing his journey and the fact that what made me feel so emotional is that he discusses him returning back to his family, going back, and how he was not accepted. He was not accepted by them because, oh, now you know the white man's English. You know how to read and you know how to write. And that means you must be evil
Mm.
because they're evil. They hurt us and you grew up with them. So you are too. And
Mm.
it's just like, what the freak?
There's
Like,
an evil inside of you. And
yes.
that's having that dichotomy too. It's because what we've learned as I went to, Christian schools, what you learn as a Christian going to be a missionary in small villages in Africa, what
Mm-hmm.
they believe is evil.
Mm.
What they
Mm-hmm.
practice is evil. Their
Mm-hmm.
spirituality, the fact that they worship many gods is evil. It's all there's no explanation for why they think something is evil. It's all because they worship many gods and we have to it's one God, one God, one God. So it's evil. It's evil.
A complete misunderstanding of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you haven't read the book, I highly recommend you go and get it, of Water and Spirits by
Yes.
Malidoma Somé.
Go get it, please.
It's a very quick read.
It is a quick read and it shows not only does it highlight colonialism um and the impact that that's had on he also highlighted the impact that it's had on people, black people that they Africans that they took and brought over to America, and
Mm-hmm.
their belief on like why the black people are in the state that they are currently, of in a cycle of poverty, in and out of jails, and broken
Mm-hmm.
homes, broken
Mm.
families, and
Girl, when he was saying
alcoholism.
that stuff, I was like, yes,
Mhm.
yes, it is all the lack of connection to spirit. Yes, it
lack
is.
lack of connection to spirit.
Yes, it is.
Mm.
At every, ooh, I'm about to, okay. I don't want to cry. I don't want to mess up my makeup.
You can
But
go
that's how I've
ahead.
been like
You
all weekend.
should. You should.
Because it's just I just feel so much like heaviness when it comes to like you don't have to be living in the way that you are. And then it's like,
Mhm.
but then you now also need to know that you can reach out. Like I just want people to find their connection, you know? I
Mhm.
want them to feel, I want them to see it. Like, do you see that this is what's happening to you and this is why?
Mhm.
Um and when he was describing that, he's like, I see like how Black Americans are and how, they do this, they do that, and they don't really, all that stuff. And I'm like, but then you turn around and you come and go and try to tell, hey, cousin, blah de blah, have you ever thought about this? Girl, that's evil. Like it's not. Oh, that's not of God. There's so many um I don't know, it's like you want to say something but then you don't, like with the dream
Well,
stuff and
it's
how you have to do things like little by little, like let me just say. And I feel like I know that you don't like when I say that you have been more connected than I have been. Um,
mm,
but
mm,
I have also been as equally connected. However, I there was a point in my life when I allowed life to push me every which way and did not feel empowered, and I did not make decisions or move from the position of feeling God within. I
mhm,
moved in from powerlessness, and I you would say things and I'll be like, it would like feel like a drop, like you dropped a pebble into like a bucket
mhm,
that's like within my body. And I'm like, okay, she said something. I know I'm supposed to understand that. And I know that that's supposed to say something to me. I hear that was more than just words. That was an energetic transfer. And I'd be like, but I couldn't. There was a long time when I'm just like, I feel it, but I don't know what it means yet. And it was like I had
Mhm.
to keep like every little inch of growth. Okay, hearing more and more synchronicities happening. This person, another person saying something, then another person saying something else, and then it all combined. Then I'm like, oh, then it clicks. And so, um, to not continue to go around and around. What Malidoma Somé did throughout his life is he lived in his truth. He went to seminary. He learned so much about Christianity, about Catholicism. He learned everything that there was to know, even found out about other cultures,
Learn different
other
languages.
yes.
Mhm.
So it's like
Mhm.
he but still represented himself as the African man that he was, or
Mhm.
not just African, but from his country, he
He's
represented
from Burkina
himself.
Faso. Mhm.
Yes,
Faso,
and
yeah.
because he did that, like he's now passed, but he is still making changes and adding value to this world and helping us and so many other people
Yeah.
find the power within themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. What the book did for me was put things into perspective a little bit more in terms of how I growing up, I always knew that as a black person growing up in America, living in America, we didn't have a culture.
Mm,
You know that, and so for me, I have a sense of pride in who I am.
mhm,
So for me, I turned it into, well, I don't care. I have my own culture. I'm gonna make my culture.
mhm,
And um I think a lot of black people do that. Like, this is our culture. We're from the South, or we're from LA, or from, we make our own culture
yeah,
um wherever we are. And so we develop a pride in that, but we don't realize, like, while we're doing that, we're still looking for acceptance, or we're still trying to be more white. So it's like, even just one small example, there's this black women love Christmas group that I'm in on Facebook. And we gonna go, as black women especially, we are gonna go all out and buy all the Christmas decorations and be the best and be this and be that. But it's just like,
mhm,
we're trying to do this for a Anglo-Saxon holiday, Christian holiday, that is glorifying a white man in the sky. Like, as a black person, we go to, like, even for Easter, even like anything that we do, we're gonna go above and beyond and be the best at it. And people are gonna look at us like, oh,
exactly.
but what is that for?
Mhm,
What is that for? That's not, that has, and that's why when you see Nigerian people or African people that look at us and they just like, y'all don't have a culture. Now that clicked in my mind. It's just like, you're the best at what you're doing, but you are still disconnected.
mhm,
And it shows. It's like, who are you living for? What are you living
mm,
for? What are you striving for?
mm,
Because you're not
yeah,
connected to anything.
yeah,
So that book, it made me really think, like, wow, I am disconnected. I need to, I'm like, am I gonna now go to Africa and have a pilgrimage and just be like all Afrocentric and stuff? Like, this is why those people do that. This is why you see people coming from going, going into a dark cave, and they coming out and they just a whole different person living an
yeah,
Afrocentric life, because they're like, this is who I'm supposed to be.
yeah, yeah,
And I mean, we are slowly, as a black people, we like, Afro beats is more popular in our culture now. There's so many different African clothing designers that we wear, jewelry designers, handbags. Like, we are embracing it and accepting it. Our good old African sisters love some African brothers and they money.
mhm,
We've returned to Ghana. I haven't gone to Ghana, but the year of the return to Ghana back in 2019, like, we are, as a black culture, going back to Africa, like even Khalees with, she's doing her African tour. I say it's like her commercial. She'll be in Tanzania, like, I'm in Tanzania. Look at this. Like she does her commercials for the
Hmm.
continent of Africa, going to all these countries. But it's just like we have to see, like, it's almost like we're accepting it because it's not the bush.
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, I don't want to keep talking. I could talk forever, but
Yeah.
it's just like that was the biggest thing for me. It was like I really am not connected to
It,
anything.
yeah, and for me, it was very interesting hearing it from a person who is from the continent of Africa, looking at America and the American people, because I have obviously the experience and the knowledge of what it's like for Jamaicans to look at America, and how um, us Black Americans are compared to us Black Jamaicans. And he opened my eyes. I guess what hurt the most for me is it really hurt me for him to say, yeah, I went back to my village and they wouldn't accept me because now I know this and that. And he's like, it's also, the thing there is that because they were hurt by the missionaries and basically colonizing the place, that because they were hurt by them, they see anything that they do, anything that is representative of them, is bad. So it's like, well, that's how the colonizers feel about you guys. And now you guys feel that about the colonizers. And then it's like, but how do you live any other way? You know? Like
Mhm.
it makes me want to go like, wait. Like we're they're not doing this right, but like you don't just not accept him because of whatever. Like it just, I felt the urge to like want to get in between that, even though I'm reading something from the past.
Well, I mean,
um
the thing is like he said, his name, it means to make friends with the enemy or with a stranger, and
yes.
it's the whole notion of our life path is our path, and we don't know what we're
Cha
gonna
cha
have to
cha.
go through in order to live that
Lord,
purpose
Lord, Lord.
out.
Let me tell you about a name. My name. Just a sidebar. I told my mom this morning, I texted her, I was like, Mommy, thank you for my name. Because I've told you this, you know this already, that I came into this world knowing that I'm just rich and I can have whatever I want. I'm just a wealthy person. And then life happened. I was more into a family that was not that. And had life experiences that were nowhere near that,
Mhm.
and was just like, wait, just like, okay, bring you back to reality. My reality became a sense of lack and a sense of like, I just ended up feeling like I wasn't deserving
Mhm.
of wealth and of being a person who can afford things, afford a lifestyle,
Mhm.
even as far as being homeless before, and as far as trying to choose, do I pay for my power bill or do I pay for food to eat? Which one do I do? I still feel this
So what
deep
does your
within my
name mean
soul.
though? What does your name mean?
It's coming. I
Okay.
feel deep within my soul. I'm like, there's no way that I'm leaving this lifetime without being somebody like Oprah or something, or Tyler Perry, like coming from the bottom and just you know
Mhm.
making it out. What I'm learning now is that it's changing the internal, right? Changing the beliefs of the family system
Mhm.
to allow there to be greener pastures, to allow wealth to flow. So
Mhm.
the name Jessica means wealth.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, that's why. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And my mom named me after her fraternal grandmother. Her name was Justina. And then my middle name is Victoria. And so this morning, as I was getting ready, I'm like listening to another book that we're reading is by Abiola Abrams, which she's an amazing author. And she talks about, I am victorious. She says that as an affirmation, I am victorious. And I was like, of course I'm victorious. My middle name is Victoria. I was like, oh shoot. I
Yay.
was like, it's right there. It's been in my
It's
name. I
been
was like,
in
I
your
am,
name.
yes, I'm going to be victorious at being wealthy. I'm like,
Yes.
oh. So then like it all connected. Like I have to go through these things. I have to go through these different portals of transformation that I
Mhm.
have been going through in my life in order to do what I feel like I was born to do, which is
Mhm.
transforming my family line to be closer to God and recognizing that you don't have to do anything to be wealthy, to be fortunate, to, to have your needs met. They
Mhm.
can be met because you're alive.
Mhm.
And so it's just a whole transformation. But anyway, that was a
Yeah,
sidebar because
that's really big though.
yeah, I'm like, okay, now this all, it connected a lot of dots for me.
Yeah.
Um,
We are gonna have to go. We're gonna do a part 2 of this recording. This was just a processing today, just conversation. So we could say this was just an I am segment episode. We want to thank you guys for listening. Please share this episode. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not subscribed. Hit the notification button. Follow us on Instagram. Keep expecting miracles pod. We're trying to grow, guys. We're trying to get some affiliate links. We're trying to get some money so we can upgrade our technology, so we can spread the message in a better way. So subscribe,
mhm,
follow, comment, like, share,
mhm. Share, share,
listen,
share.
share. Yes, and listen. And send us messages, support us, send us your manifestation stories or what you want to manifest, because as we said, like, this podcast is a tool for manifestation. So if you have something that you want to manifest, please send it to us so we can share it, so we can get your message out and have it be more amplified by the more people. That's why we want you to share it to the more people that listen to this and have that agreement with you for what you want to manifest, means that it will happen in
Mhm.
a more rapid way, powerful way. So we're gonna come back with part 2. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.